Hello everyone, and welcome to another bass singer reaction. I'm just now getting to the end of this sore throat cold thing I've had for like 4 or 5 days. I'm back to practicing a little bit, which is nice. But again, probably for the last one, won't be demonstrating a whole lot, but you know, we'll see if the mood takes me. Guys, today we are doing the Wicked Acapella Medley, A Chance to Fly, Voice to Play, featuring Rachel Potter, welcome back, and Emily Wilkins, who I have not heard before. Of course heard Rachel and all she's done with VoicePlay. And I hear this is arranged by Jeff. And we all know Jeff's a masterful arranger. Although usually I think Elaine does the arranging for VoicePlay, so this will be cool if this is in fact Jeff's arrangement. It's been recommended to me a bunch, so we're gonna do that today. If you like what I'm doing, guys, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Help my channel grow. And if you are really enjoying what I'm doing, if you're getting value from my analysis, if you're enjoying watching me comment on these iconic songs, please consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Link is in the description below the video. And without further ado, I'm going to jump into this. It's a medley. It's 7 minutes and 42 seconds, so this is probably going to be a long one, y'all. I'm not going to rush. You know, I want to make sure we give the full credit and appreciation to this piece. Without further ado, let's get wicked.
Nothing grows for the wicked, they reap only what they've sown. No one mourns the wicked, no one cries, they won't return. No one lays a lily on the grave. The good man.
Cool. All right. Nice. So right off the bat, we've got Jeff with a nice smooth bass line. We've got a lot of pretty simple background harmonies going on. And the lead, taken by Cesar, I believe, is really sung more like a pop singer. There's a little more breathiness to it. In VoicePlay, speech is usually prioritized. Speech in a very forward-placed sound, a really kind of bright sound. Occasionally, it can get too charactery. That's a common critique of some musical theaters. It gets kind of too forward and too bright with no kind of roundness to it. But this is a totally different approach to the song. And I actually have seen Wicked on Broadway before. And it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. Really fun show. I saw it probably 2 years ago. And so here we have the lead taking a much more pop style singing, where it's a little bit more breathy, it's a little bit more relaxed. It's not really trying to hit that super bright pointed sound. And in addition to that, you know, we've got Lane doing some kind of basic vocal percussion beatboxing, just to give the song its forward drive. And I'm going to back up a few seconds so we can get into this phase 2 where Ellie is taking over the solo line. And yeah, sorry for that. I am still a little bit sick. I know that's gross.
Lily on the grave. The good man scorns the wicked. Through the lies our children learn. Oh, what we miss when we misbehave. And goodness knows.
All right, before Emily jumps in, so Ellie there singing more what is characteristic of musical theater style singing, with a higher closed quotient. That means the vocal folds are together for a higher percentage of time when they oscillate. That creates a brighter sound. It creates higher harmonics in the sound, which cut really well. And that's pretty standard of Ellie, especially when he gets up into his upper range. He does, and I've commented this before, he does a lot of musical theater-like belting when he sings in his upper range. You know, neutral or high larynx position. You know, if you lower your larynx, it creates more roundness in the sound. If you have higher, it creates a little brighter sound. It's just it's a smaller area for the sound to resonate. So he usually, when he sings high in his belts, sounds kind of like a musical theater singer. Anyway, so that was very fitting for him on that solo. And of course, he's nowhere close to his power belt mode anyway, but I have a feeling we just might get there.
And we misbehave.
Cool. Couple cool things there. So I guess Emily is she's kind of striking the balance there. Like, she's got her vocal folds are closing well, so there's brightness in the sound, but it also is a little bit more pop, especially in the liberties she's taking with the riffing, those little riff moments. Some really fast ones, which is cool. She's got some nice vocal agility that she's showing off there in that solo. So I'm going to go back and flag that. And then in addition to her kind of style I want you guys to listen to this crazy upward bass line Jeff does kind of right at the end of that section. It's very, very cool. And again, I do know the music for probably all these songs, but not well enough to say, oh, that was written in the original. But I'm guessing if it's Jeff who's doing the arranging or Lane, I'm guessing there's going to be, a lot of source material thrown in here or based on source material, but there's going to be a lot of creative additions as well. That's what both of these guys are so good at and so known for when creating their pieces. So check out her style of singing, little pop, little musical theater. It's a nice blend. And then check out this bass line by Jeff. Change, okay?
Good news. Oh. When I meet the wizard,
Rachel.
Once I prove my worth, and then I'll meet the wizard. What I've waited for since birth. He'll say.
Okay, so I'm getting what they seem to be doing is they've got a soloist. Go figure. They've got Jeff doing bass, per usual, and then they have pretty simple background harmonies between the three who are not singing the solo, and then you've got Lane doing perk. So that's kind of the general layout. There hasn't been, the backgrounds will, from what I've seen, on occasion, and sometimes they will replace the soloist by singing the text. They'll either repeat the text the soloist has done, or actually I think in the first verse they actually kind of just the background harmonies as a unit kind of took over that melody for a few bars. But for the most part, we've got solo, we've got 3 background singers, we've got perk, and we've got bass. So that's kind of the layout we're getting. Now, Rachel Potter, again, she also, like Ellie, tends to sing a lot like a musical theater singer when she's doing her pieces. And the pop singers that do have more power behind their voice, that do get that good closure, they do often sound like musical theater because the common area there is the laryngeal position. They're not depressing their larynx like we do as opera singers to create that warm, round sound. They're keeping it very normalized, like just if you were speaking, and the vowels are very spread. They're not verticalizing vowels, again, for that round, dark sound. It's supposed to be very bright and natural in how the singing is produced. So both Ellie and Rachel do a good job, but they both add their own pop flair by throwing in their own riffs and stuff like that. There's not, to my knowledge, a ton of riffing kind of coloratura stuff in musical theater. Not a ton. Of course, there is some, but there is much more in pop, and there actually is a lot in opera too. That's where the word coloratura comes from. Anyway, Rachel, really nice blend of musical theater style singing and pop singing, and then of course I just explained the layout of how it seems they're going so far on the kind of musical structure of their group and how the group is performing together.
I see who you truly are, a girl on whom I can rely, and that's how we'll begin. The wizard and I, dancing through life, skimming the surface, gliding where turf is smooth.
Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too hard when it's so soothing?
F sharp 1. So, did you guys notice what was different about that section? what was different about this section is it probably didn't feel quite as full to you sonically, is because there was no bass line. And even when Jeff was singing the solo, there was no real bass line. You just had Lane doing this kind of, like this cool kind of, I don't even know what I would call it, clicker, shaker kind of perk. So there was no kick, there was no thump, and there was no hard snare. It was just like this kind of perk, and no bass line whatsoever. So it was a thinner sound for the group. It wasn't this wall that comes in when all those bass frequencies come in. And then even when Jeff took over the solo, I believe, we'll check in a second, but I believe Lane kept the perk, the kind of clicky perk, and there was still no real bass line, because Jeff's solo is, of course, a bass voice, but not a bass line in terms of how it's structured. And then he ends on a nice F-sharp 1 sub. I don't know if I'm not gonna give Jeff Pit Fibers on the F1 sub, just because that's too easy for him. That's too easy for my man Jeff nowadays. You know, he can do an F-sharp 1 in his sleep in the subharmonic. So let's go back and just listen to how that's layers and no bass, light perk. Jeff comes in with the solo, and then we'll move on.
Dancing through life, skimming the surface,
no bass line,
gliding where turf is smooth.
Life's more painless,
still no bass
full
line.
of brainless. Why think too hard when it's so soothing?
Dancing through life, no need to tough it when you can slough it off as I do.
Wait a second. First of all, you hear how much different it is when you've got the kick from Lane and you've got the bass line from Jeff, but what did Jeff just do? That was some low chest, some very low chest happening.
So soothing.
Dancing through life, no need to tough it when you can slough it off as I do. Nothing like
Maybe down to an F-sharp 1 chest, at least a G-sharp.
dancing through life, no need to tough it when you can slough it off as I do.
I think the F-sharp 1's a sub. It has a slightly different quality to it. The chest down was a little more breathy sounding, a little less high harmonic content in it. There's a little more bite in that subharmonic. I think it's a subharmonic. Someone can clarify that. I'm not going to re-listen again, but I think he went either B natural, and then I can't remember, either B flat or A chest, then A flat, G sharp chest, and then F sharp 1 sub. I think that's what happened.
Nothing matters, but knowing nothing matters. It's just life, so keep dancing through. Dancing through,
Don't be offended by my break analysis. Think of it as personality dialysis. Now that I've chosen to become a palace divisor, there's nobody wiser. Oh, not when it comes to popular.
Classic. This is the tune everybody knows. You got to know this song. So again, there was very light bass there from Jeff. Basically no perk from Lane. So it's cool. They're also doing. It's one of the toughest things about writing medleys, and doing medleys, arranging medleys, is figuring out how the heck to go from one section to the next, because often you're going from a different key at a different tempo, maybe a different time signature, into, you know, the new key, tempo, time signature, all these things. It's a very difficult thing to do. What they're doing now, it seems like they're kind of almost resetting at the end of each part of this medley, instead of trying to do some crazy common chord key change like that. That is very common in classical music, for example. There are pivot chords and borrowed chords, ways to create transitions between keys that feel kind of seamless. This is a more sectionalized arrangement. Not to say that the transitions aren't smooth, because I think they're done very nicely, but they're done in a more segmented way. And with that, let's keep going.
Now that I've chosen to become a palace divisor, there's nobody wiser. not when it comes to popular. I know about popular, and with an assist from me to be who you be, instead of cheering who you are. Well, are there's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular.
Okay, F sharp. Ooh, F sharp 1 sub from Jeff. He's just just throwing in those subs. I like the landed on when he's like popping the bubbles. That was nice.
There's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular. You'll be popular, just not quite as popular.
Nice riff there from Emily. Yeah, good. So again, we're similar breakdown here. We got Jeff on the bass doing a lot of movement, laying on the perk. We got the rest singing background. La 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 in this part, which is very fitting to the kind of vibe and mood of the song. And then Emily doing a great job with the solo. You know, there's not a whole lot more to say or break down there. That to me did sound very true to what I remember the original sounding like in terms of tempo and vibe, and not any big twists thrown in there from the arrangement in that regard. But some things are left the way they are. I mean, that's such a hit on its own. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then it looks like Jeff's about to take over something.
'Cause it feels wonderful. They think I'm wonderful. Hey, look who's wonderful. This corn-fed hick. Who said it might be keen to build a town of green and a wonderful road of yellow brick?
Nice, yeah. You know, a lot of these are just, you know, they're the segments are, there's not, again, like I said a minute ago, no huge creative twists there. As far now, to be honest, I do not remember some of these explicitly, clearly from the original. It's been a while since I've seen the show, but I think, and of course people will correct me if I'm wrong here, it sounds like some of these segments, the last two in particular, are more true to what we get in the original, although there definitely was no low bass solo in the original. So Jeff, for sure, just took that one an octave down or 2 octaves down. I don't remember what character in the show sang that solo. But from the rest of it, in terms of the vibe and how the instruments are set to voices, it seems pretty close to what we get in the original piece. So that said, let's keep going. People who love Wicked, please correct me.
To build a town of green and a wonderful road of yellow brick.
And I'll say Jeff sticks to Jeff's technique. He did not deviate towards pop, although it's hard to deviate towards pop as a bass singer because there's almost no bass singers in pop. Jeff sang that solo how Jeff sings. It's very smooth. It's forward placed, but not bright. Not harsh, but placed forward in the mask, in the nose a little bit. But it's a very smooth delivery, and it's certainly not. Again, there aren't many basses in musical theater, but it's not musical theater-y in the terms of like a lot of high harmonic content, good vocal fold closure. It's like a very relaxed delivery of the text, which is how Jeff sings his solos pretty much very consistently, at least in that part of his range. He can do a belt or something when it goes up higher, but in that low middle part of his range, just very relaxed singing.
And hunt her and find her and kill her. Kill the witch and hunt her and find her and kill her. Wickedness must be punished. Whoa, effectively eliminate.
flat one from Jeff. A lot of high power belting here. Now we're getting like full-on musical theater ensemble. We're getting a lot of powerhouse singing here from all our high voices in the group. All the high voices. So pretty much everyone but Jeff and Lane are kind of letting it rip here. We also have there's a lot of movement happening in the bass line. There's a lot of heavy perk happening. It's an intense moment. It's an intense moment in the show. It's an intense moment in this medley. To the point where it looked like Jeff even got a little freaked out by Cesar singing next to him. So that was kind of a funny touch, actually. Let's go back. He looks over. He's like, "What are you doing, bro? Are you good? Are you okay over there?"
And hunt her and find her and kill her. Kill the witch! And hunt her and find her and kill her. Wickedness must be punished. Whoa, effectively eliminate. Wickedness must be punished. Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Punished by you. I hope you're happy.
Cool. So that's they're pretty much all singing the text there. So they're, for most of this medley so far, we've had a lot of background syllables, oohs, ums, ahs, with a little bit of text sprinkled in. This is like everybody, except for Jeff and Lane, are singing the text, and they're really singing it. They're throwing it right in your face. This is another addition, and I think that adds to the intensity of this moment. We're getting the message from everybody singing.
Punished by you. I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this. I hope it brings you bliss.
Ooh. That was a cool transition. That was a little different. So that was, still you can hear the clear change here. And of course, with the production, they're changing the lighting and everything too. It was red, now it's blue. But instead of just kind of stopping and switching tempi and key change, they actually did they did a gradual slowdown of the tempo, ritardando, as it were, in classical. Let's listen to that again. So that's a pretty cool effect.
I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this. I hope it brings you bliss.
Bell tones, Marwan. Bell tones, Marwan. I know you love it.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn.
And we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return.
Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you
Like a comet.
Beautiful. I love, this is one of the best songs from the original, in my opinion. And I think they did a nice job with it. Very stripped down, very bare bones. Just Emily singing there first, which was really nice. And then I believe when Cesar came in, then there was I think Jeff also came in a little bit, not with a heavier complex bass line, but just also started phonating. But it was, I think this is the, of all the pieces in the show that you want to strip down, this is the one, because this one just hits. This one just hits. And the style here again by Cesar and Emily, very, again, it's more oriented towards pop than it is musical theater. There's more breathiness in the sound. There's more freedom in terms of the riffing and the actual pitches chosen to sing. Likely not, the riffs I'm pretty sure weren't. As far as the other specific notes, I don't have the score with me, so I can't confirm, but I'm guessing they're also taking liberties there as well. If it's even in the same key. These are questions that would have to be researched further. But very nice and fitting, and especially to this modern version of a cappella. I mean, it is very pop-like in the style of singing. So I think they're doing a nice balance of taking enough from the musical theater singing to where they're doing that, and especially when it gets into like the belting areas. But they're also, you know, they're appealing to this audience that is used to hearing more pop-style vocals and singing than they are used to hearing straight-up musical theater. So it's good. It's very well done. Let's back up just a hair. Get back into this. Also, the chords coming are beautiful. There's a few suspensions there, a few dissonance clashes that really add to the beauty and the kind of majesty of this moment.
Who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return.
Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today
Because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun. Like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. Because I knew you.
because I knew you.
Because I knew you. I have been changed. Unlimited.
Interesting transition there going into this next section. But that's just a beautiful moment. I don't think that's a section you want to overcomplicate. I think the arrangement is done very well there, where you just start that piece stripped down, let it hit you right in the soul, let it kick you in the emotional nards, and then, you know, build the voices up, but don't get too crazy with it. Don't get too crazy with it. That's one that really it wins in its purity. You know what I mean? It wins in its purity. So let's go on. Let's hear this transition here. It's the transition here is Emily sings the last part of this section, and I think Rachel sings the first part of the next section.
I
tempo.
hope you're happy in the end. I hope you're happy, my friend.
Wow. So actually, I don't know if this is a different song from the one right there, or if that was just a transition or an interlude that Jeff made up. I don't know. I can't remember the original music well enough to tell you. But either way, it was cool. They finished this one section. Emily finishes the previous Change for the Better. Rachel starts this next section. Everyone jumps in. And then after about 20 to 30 seconds, they're already into this, I think, is the next song. I think that was just one snippet of its own song, but I'm not sure. I cannot say for sure. Comment below. Correct me on my mistakes. I am human and I am fallible, and I do not know all the music to Wicked perfectly by any means.
Chance to fly, and if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free.
We gotta go back. There's a lot going on. Okay, hold on. All right, so sweep. I love that cascading fill by Lane coming down into this section. And then what we're going to get here is we're going to get, again, a lot of belting. Rachel's taking the lead. Backgrounds on Oz. We're getting into full power mode here of this part of this medley. And Jeff just going ham on this bass line.
So if you care to find me, look to the western sky.
Hear that sub?
Someone told
Do, do. Another F sharp 1 sub there that he sneaks in. Just sneaks it in.
me, look to the western sky. As someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly.
Nice.
And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free to go.
Now we're like almost like pop punk. Not the tempo's not quite fast enough. Also, really just that really nice belt, nice pure belt from Rachel that could be heard in the pop genre or the modern musical theater genre. It was very that part of the two genres can overlap pretty closely. The belting, the high belting in pop, and the high belting in musical theater. Again, musical theater is usually a little more kind of like bite the apple, really bright forward sound, whereas pop is more usually generally just kind of more true to the nature of that singer. But there is a lot of crossover there, and that was a very nice belt that could have gone in either genre. Let's give her
A chance to fly. And if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free to those who ground me. Take a message back from me. Tell them how.
definitely a chest G sharp 1 from Jeff.
Message back from me. Tell them how I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown. And nobody in all of us, no wizard that there is or was, is ever gonna bring me down.
Rachel's nasty at belting. She's really good at belting up there. Great perk from Lane. I can't tell you how hard it is to A, beatbox that well, but B, record it and mix and engineer it to sound that crisp. Oh my god, it is not a trick I figured out yet, I'll tell you that much. Marwan and Tommy have gotten pretty good at it. I have not gotten that good at mixing beatboxing yet. Jeff flexing some low chest there. So he had a nice thick G sharp chest on an A vowel. This is when I raised up my Vipers. Not quite exposed enough, so I'm not throwing them on, but this is like almost like an honorable mention. Baby Pit Viper. Then just really great belting from Rachel. And the other singers are filling out the back. You know, it's great how much the solo's trading off. And whenever whoever's not the soloist is also really doing their part, bringing a lot of energy, keeping that sound full, which is really important. You got to commit to the background parts. You got to commit to the harmonies, or it's going to fall flat. And of course, they are all in, baby. They are all in. Very, very interesting ending. Oh, he did not. Was that a C sharp 1? I think that was a C sharp 1. Again, great belting from Rachel. Clearly they're utilizing her talent here by letting her just rip face for a minute. And then this very interesting ending, I think, with Jeff on a C sharp 1. I mean, if you can clearly hear the C sharp 1 sub, you're getting a pit viper. Yeah, it was a C sharp 1. Oh my god, C sharp 1. So we'll give a combined pit viper to Rachel's exquisite belting and Jeff's C sharp 1 subharmonic. Amazing. Well, that was a lot of fun. Guys, I'm sure, I wish I had reviewed all the Wicked songs before this, but I hope I was able to shed some light on at least how this was created for a cappella. I think someone told me Jeff arranged it. I'll just trust them until I hear otherwise. I think Jeff did a really great job. For the most part, it sounds like he kept more of the source material as a basis than he has done on some of his other covers, and more so than Lane has done on his arrangements for the group. Now, part of that is when you do a medley, it's a big enough challenge just to write a short bit for each song. It's a very tough thing to do, to kind of figure out what to choose and how to thread it into the the super objective, the overarching musical journey of the whole piece. It's very difficult to write a good medley, and to write in the transitions, like I said earlier, to figure out how you're going to make smooth transitions from one to the next, or figure out how, if sectionalized, you're still going to make it smooth, which Jeff did here, and VoicePlay overall did here, and the engineers did here, and everything goes into making that a smooth product as it turns out. So just creating a medley is difficult enough, and there were 7-8 songs here. That's a huge undertaking. And at some point, it's a Wicked medley. We want to hear the Wicked music. So if you do too much creative spins and stuff, and then each little section of this huge medley gets almost unrecognizable, then it kind of defeats the purpose. Right? We already love the music. That's why we're watching the medley. We love VoicePlay. That's why we're going to watch this video. So those two things together is all you need. Just do solid arranging, put them in with good transitions, and we're going to stick around till the end. So they did a great job, and this was a lot of fun, a lot of cool things. Shouts to Jeff if he arranged this. Shouts to VoicePlay. Shouts to Rachel and Emily for joining. Y'all sound fantastic. And this has been the Wicked Acapella Medley. Hope you guys enjoyed. All right. Bye-bye.